Hi, Wendy. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here, Elisha. I'm doing well.
Beautiful. And thank you too for coming. It means a whole lot for honoring the invite. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so, I am so excited to have you on the show, Wendy, for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge, because I believe that knowledge is the solution to world's problem. All right? Folks who are stuck in a situation and they find it difficult to get unstuck, I believe that's because they are yet to receive the right information on how to get out of it. So secondly, it is my audience because I believe firmly that they will learn one or two things from your story, your insight. Thirdly, even me myself, I am so sure that I will definitely learn one or two things from you, from your story, your experiences, your insight. So for that reason, Wendy, I want us to get started with your introduction, your journey, how the journey has been so far, the challenges that you faced, and how you overcame them. Then afterwards, I've got some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Wendy, over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, we will both learn, and I was reminded as you spoke about the saying that in 5 years we will be changed by the people we meet, the books we read, and a lot of that is the knowledge that they impart, isn't it? We learn so much when we get together or in the room with other people. And so, how I got to here, I'm Wendy Gunn, and I am a Christian entrepreneur and ovarian cancer survivor. And I was going along copying my friends, thinking that I needed to be like someone else and not fulfilling who God had created me. And I was copying and I was comparing myself and feeling inferior and not enough and competing and coveting. And I was severely obese and miserable. And then one Tuesday in May, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And ovarian cancer is called the silent killer because it usually has symptoms that you don't recognize as anything serious. And it's usually not caught early. And I found out they diagnosed me with two football sized tumors inside of me. And God did a lot of things in that story. First of all, he got me into surgery in 3 days. And in those 3 days, everyone we knew and a lot of people we didn't know were praying for me. And when the surgeon went in, he found one football sized still tumor, but it was caught early. And I'm a walking miracle. And I went through chemo, but I've been cancer free for 22 years. And what God spoke to me in that was, your story is forever changed. And I created you uniquely for a purpose. But that's true for you, Elisha, and every one of your listeners. Your story is unique, and you were created by God for a purpose in his image. And so it became my passion to share that with everyone, to share that with you, that you are uniquely created for a purpose and to help you find and fulfill that purpose. The following year, in desperation to be healthier, I lost 50 pounds. And that was the first domino that fell in because I thought if God can do that in my life, he can do anything. And every one of us, I think, has a giant that we're fighting. I was reading in 2 Samuel today about the giants that were killed. David killed Goliath, but there were other giants that had to be killed. And his friends and people came along and helped. And we're all fighting giants. And I think there's one giant that all of us have. It may be weight loss for your listeners. It was for me. That had to fall before other goals could be achieved. But it began a whole series of big goals in my life being achieved. And later, after the age of 60, I lost another 50 pounds. So I was at one point over 100 pounds heavier than my wedding weight. And now I'm within 15 pounds of my wedding weight, and I'm still losing weight. And I'm not young, but so I encourage anyone who's young to slay those giants when you're young. But God is writing a story in and through your life, and embrace that. He's got a message for the world through you.
Beautiful, Wendy. You know, your words are filled with this, how would I put it, interesting stuff. And I am just so happy and grateful to God to come across someone who understands this truth about purpose. Because I've been talking about this stuff on my podcast for a long time now. So getting to hear someone say the same thing, it's amazing, I tell you. And your story is a testimony that God exists and God caters and cares for those ones who trust in Him, who believe in his infinite power. And that's amazing. I love that. I love that. So, shall we get started with the questions?
Yes, please.
Okay. So you mentioned achieving goals, all right? I want you to dive deeper on that. So, what holds people back from achieving their goals or their dreams and goals? I want you to rest on that.
Great question. And I know because I was a procrastinating perfectionist as well. And now I have my latest offer, you might call it, is the superhero weight loss system. And I help people overcome, lose, shed the weight, WEIGHT, and the weight, WAIT. So, and it starts up here. Goal achievement starts here and here. And I I want people who believe in the Lord to know that knowledge, it's knowledge of Him and what He can do. And when we hold ourselves back by our limiting beliefs, our beliefs in that say, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. And I don't want to be uncomfortable. I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to take any risks. And I'm sure I'm going to fail. And we tell ourselves all these things. And we put off because we want to do it perfectly from the get go. And so there's all these different, that's just a small snippet, but those are the top ones. We're telling ourselves lies, and Satan's telling us lies because we're thinking it's all up to me. Yeah, God does expect you to do things and be faithful, but He gives you power. And He is the ultimate superhero. When I talk about, step into the booth, put on your cape, and become the superhero that God created you to be, because He's the ultimate superhero. So it has to do with, no, I can't, but He can. Step out in obedience. If He puts something on your heart to do, obey. And you aren't going to know all the details first. You aren't going to be able to do it perfectly. Be willing to fail and be a fast action taker. You can tweak later, you can improve. But I just see so many people being afraid, fear. What will people think? Oh, what if I make a mistake? Be okay with that. And I think that comes with age too. The older I get, the less I care about what people think of me. It's still there. But you were created for greatness. Step into it. And yeah, you're going to make some mistakes. Be okay with that.
So,
I also want to say just one thing. I
okay.
learned about SMART goals. And also two things. I want to say dreams, don't squash your dreams. God gave you dreams. He put dreams within you. And I see so many people just squashing them and forgetting about them and not dreaming big dreams. And then secondly, SMART goals. Google SMART goals and learn how to set, you know, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're broken down, so learn how to set goals and achieve.
That was well explained. I love that. I love that. Okay, Wendy,
Thank you.
you mentioned age. Now, let's say someone say, okay, Wendy, I got to listen to your conversation with Elisha, but I think life is over for me because I am 60 years already. I think it is too late for me. Now, what would your response be to such person?
I love that because I don't know, people don't realize how old I am. I'm 60, gonna be 68 in a month. I achieved some of my biggest goals
Unbelievable.
after,
I tell
and
you, you
and
look just so young.
thank you. I know that you're being kind partly, but I honestly, I want to encourage anyone over 30. I mean, I hear people over 30 going, "Oh, 30, I'm just, if you're over 30, 40, 50, 60, I will be setting goals and pursuing my dreams till the day God takes me home, Lord willing. And He has so much for you at 60, at 50, 60. Now you have the wisdom, you have the experience, and God doesn't waste any of your life story. But now you have a lot more freedom in your life to really impact the world. And I lost 50 pounds after 60. I started my online business after 60. I had been in the online world, in ministry kind of blogging since 2009, but I started my business in 2018, and I was 62 at that age. And it's not too late. No, it's not too late. And so I just encourage you to embrace who God made you today. Today is the appointed day. Today. You don't have yesterday. You don't have tomorrow. Today. Be grateful, be faithful, and do what God calls you to do.
Beautiful. I got that. But I tell you, it's amazing. You look so young, and that's beautiful. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay, we have two more questions to go. So let us talk about building a thriving email list. Okay, how can one build a thriving email list, even if you're clueless from where to begin?
Oh, yes. And that was another goal that I achieved after I'd started my business. I also built an email list from nothing, and I worked really hard for 3 years doing it organically. And then, first of all, I really encourage people in the online space or in a business, well, in anything, get a coach. Coaches skyrocket you. They can help you with the strategies and the things, someone who's done it ahead of you. And so I got a coach and they helped me, and then I tweaked what they taught me. But having a coach helped me have my first four-figure earning revenue month, and I began to grow. But then when I took what they gave me, I'll tell you how I did that. But I went from about 600 to 800 subscribers to 12,000 plus in a little over 2 years. And then the thing is, I have a 37% open rate, which means that 37% of the people that see the email click on it and read it. And the industry average is 18% or 20%. So that's very high. And what I want to say to you is that you have a message. If you have an email list or want to build one and you're in the online space, You are unique again, and you have a special message and something to give. So embrace that. And you need to figure out who you are. Identity is so important, and purpose. Your identity and purpose are foundational. And then you identify who. Who do you really want to work with? Who can you help the most? And you may have heard niche down, okay? You can't say, I'm going to help everybody in the world. No. You have to think about the one person that you could help the most. And then what's what I call your secret sauce solution to their biggest problem, their biggest struggle at the most foundational level. And that becomes your freebie, your lead magnet that gets them in. And then I recommend, and these are the 3 pillars of my Launch Your List email building system, is to know who you are and identify your ideal client. That's number 1. And then number 2 is to create an irresistibly clickable freebie. And I talked through that a little bit. And then number 3 is use the fastest system, which is Facebook ads. And so I talk about how exactly to do that. But identifying their biggest problem, how do you find that out? Well, ask. Either in real life or online, there are people who are your ideal client. And figure out who that person is and who you would love to work with and help. And then, sometimes you have to pivot. Sometimes you will be changing. But when you identify what their problem is and you have a solution, because usually you've done it and okay, well, here's how I did it, boom, 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 and break down into 3 to 5 steps how you did it. Then you write emails, but you're writing an email to one person. You're talking to one person because one person opens an email. Doesn't matter if you've got 12,000 or 120,000 on your list. You are writing to one. And be yourself. That's who they want. They want to know you, and they want to get to know, like, and trust you. You've heard that as well. So be yourself. Talk about what you've gone through. Talk about how you can help them. Be relatable.
Beautiful one. I love that. I love that. Okay. To bring this to a close, Wendy, what would you like to leave the audience with? Like a final thought. And to those ones who would like to reach out to you, learn more about what you do, how can that be possible?
Oh, thank you, Elisha. It's been great to talk with you today. If you want to know how to achieve goals, or whether it's professionally or personally, you can book a call with me and we can talk about your specific situation. And that is at calendly.com/Wendy Gunn, 2 N's, /superhero. And that is my weight loss. But if you aren't interested in that, we'll talk about goals or whatever you need to talk about. And I want to leave your listeners and you with, today is the first day of the rest of your life. And God has made you, created you in His image with all the power He possesses for a purpose. So claim and embrace who you are and find and fulfill your purpose. And go forward, fearless, because you have God, the ultimate superhero, in you to empower you.
I love that. So that's going to be the end of the show, Wendy. Thank you for coming and thank you for, impacting us with this amazing insight. I
Thank
love it.
you,
It means a
Elisha.
whole lot.